Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to my life as Cheryl. If you're new to the channel, hi, you're welcome. I'm so happy you are here. I'm so happy you channeled on the channel. Please do well to leave comments and please subscribe to the channel. So today we are doing a get ready with me video. Whilst I tell you guys a story time. I can be a bad story time teller, but at least I can try. Anyway, so if you see me looking here, because that's where my mirror is, so don't think I'm looking away from you. I'm actually trying to do the makeup right. Anyway, so without further ado, let's get into the video. First thing we're going to do is I just took my bath. My face is already washed, so make sure you wash your face and your hands to get the clean, spotless one. And then yeah, so I'm applying primer to my face now. If you can't use your hands to put in the moisture, the primer, you can always use a brush. It works the same way. Okay, so last year I mentioned to you guys that I was going to be reading. So I pick a book, I have to finish it because I never finish a book. I just pick a book and then I just drop it because life issues come in the way. But I promised myself that this year I'm going to pick a book. I even said one book, but it's not even half of the year and I finished 2 books, guys. 2 books, and I'm so excited. Like, I feel so proud of myself. I feel like I said I was going to do something, and I actually did it. So this book that I'm going to tell you guys about is called Where We End and Begin. I cried at the end of the book. Like, I'll leave you guys to go read that for yourself, but let me just paraphrase what the whole story is about, tell you guys the whole story. So I'm using the V Beauty. So I did this on TikTok, and I think someone DM'd me on Instagram asking why I put a darker shade before I went in with my shade. So I learned this trick on my wedding day. That's what my makeup artist did. And I asked her and she was like, because I have dark spots, using a darker foundation conceals it better than using the orange corrector. And also it neutralizes your foundation. That's if your foundation is too bright. Because you've already used the darker shade, it's most likely going to neutralize it and make it more of a shade. So now this is actually my shade. You guys can see. So, and anyone who knows me knows that I love ZKL products. So I'm applying foundation now. Anyway, so let's go back to the book. Hopefully I can say something. All right, so the book Where We End and Begin is written by Jane Igaro, Nigerian, obviously. And in the beginning of the book, it starts with 2 young adults. I think they were 17 at the time, a guy and a girl. The girl comes from a rich family and the guy comes from a poor family. Okay, like very poor. And for the guy's family, the father of the boy woke up one day and then told he and the mother that he's going abroad, he'll come back for them, and so they should wait for him. He's going to come back and take them abroad. He's going to look for greener pastures. He went and never came back. He never ever came back to them. So they don't know whether he was dead or. And then the guy's mother was such a Christian, like she was always praying, that kind of thing, that her husband is saved, the husband will come back. So sad. That's why I don't believe in wait for me, I'll come back for you. Like, it's not like I don't believe in it, but it's something that I really feel like I can't do. Like, me myself, I don't like to travel, much less leaving somebody that I love to travel and leave me behind and say I'll come and pick you up, because you never know what may happen. But I mean, once you trust your partner, but we are human beings, and so there are certain things that you don't fully trust people for. Anyway, so I'm concealing now. So yes, the man went and never came back to pick his family. So they used to sell rice and stew, and that really resonated with me because my mom also used to sell food. And if you know me from JHS primary, my mom was popular for her rice at the junction. Charlie, I was popular for that. My dad was a teacher at the same school, so I was like a popular kid for these reasons. I was a popular kid for these reasons. So yeah, so it really resonated with me. They used to sell rice and stew at the market, and the guy used to, after school, goes to help the mom, and that's exactly what I did growing up. So I really, that's what made me want to read the book even the more. And so I continued, and they fell in love. I mean, the girl was in another school, but she was brought to the school that the guy rather got a scholarship because he was obviously intelligent. And so it's the girl's father who sponsored his education to the school that the girl was in. That was high school, SHS. And so they met there, and I think instantly they had a connection. Let me not say love because I'm not sure they knew what it was. So they had an instant connection and all that. Yeah, and that was it from there. They started hanging around. The girl took him places, bought him ice cream, like things that he couldn't like imagine buying for himself at that time. The girl had the money and stuff to buy for him, and they got a really good connection. The first time they kissed was in the classroom, and they had to let all their friends like plan it. Like she had to tell her friends to like, okay, when is this time? Everybody's running out of the classroom, and we left it just near him, and then they had their first kiss. It was so beautiful. I was like, oh my god, look at them. So they fell in love and they started seeing each other. But the girl's father was very lenient, just like my dad. And the girl's mother was like, oof, I don't want poor people in my life. I don't want poor people around you, that kind of thing. And the girl was like, the girl didn't understand. She was like, you married a rich man, so you think everybody must marry a rich man. I'm in love with, I think the guy was called Obina or something. I'm in love with Obina, blah, blah, blah. And the mom just didn't get it that two young people at that age know what love is. So because of the mom's always, oh no, you don't need him, he's not good for you, that kind of thing, they decided to let the girl go to university abroad. And this guy can't afford to do the same thing. And so he couldn't go abroad and the girl left. The girl stayed abroad for 12 years, guys. 12 years. Became a surgeon or something like that. And then she got engaged to someone there, but she never stopped loving the guy. Now let me backtrack a bit. When they were still in Nigeria, right? The first time they had sex was, I think, the day before the girl left for abroad. And they had sex in the girl's house. I thought they were going to be caught, but the grandmother knew, but she didn't say anything because she knew like the girl really loved the guy, and she also knew the story, which I'll say later on, between her son and then her daughter-in-law. That's why the daughter-in-law is acting like, my child is not going to bring a poor guy into this house vibes. So the grandmother understood and even helped and really liked the guy. And they were having a party, a send-off party for the girl, and then her friends were outside, and she and the guy went inside. And then because the girl knew she was traveling the day after, she was like, I think let's have sex. It was their first time. It was described really well. So they had sex, and then the guy noticed that in the girl's room she had a lot of books. She loved to read, actually, and she had a lot of books. Her favorite author was called Jane Austen, and I think they said to each other that they were going to name their child Austen or something, and then they had sex. So after the sex, the guy opened the door to leave. I mean, for them to go back to the party. And then he met the girl's mother. And it was such a disaster. Like the woman embarrassed him, took him outside where their other colleagues are, and then blasted him, and then told him to leave her daughter alone. How many times do I have to tell you to leave my daughter alone? That kind of thing, because we're skipping school and stuff to meet each other and stuff like that. So the woman was very, 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 very pissed, and then pushed him, and I think he was holding a glass of wine or something, a glass of juice or something like that, and then it fell. So when he also fell, he fell on the glass, and the glass entered his back. And there was so much blood, and the girl was screaming, but the woman ordered the driver or the security or something to restrain the girl and all that, and the woman sacked the boy with the blood on his back all the way to his house. And so when the guy's mother also saw that that's what they've done to her son, she was very, very pissed. So I'm going to contour my cheeks now. She was so pissed, and then she told the guy never, ever, ever to set eyes on the girl again. Besides, the girl is already leaving the next day and stuff like that. So the girl finally went abroad. They never saw each other, like I said again. But as time went on, the girl realized that she was pregnant. So that one-time sex can make you pregnant. So the girl realized she was pregnant, and her parents didn't even know, so she kept it to herself because she stopped talking to her mother. Even though she was talking to her father, she stopped talking to her mother because she thought her mother was the reason for her being alone and the guy not texting her. She's been writing thousands of emails and letters, and the guy didn't answer any of them. Some of the physical letters, the guy's mother withheld them because he didn't want her son to be hurt with false hopes and all that, because they had even planned, both of them had planned that when they go to uni, or when the girl goes abroad, she's going to find a lawyer and then help him with the immigration stuff so that he can also come and join her abroad. That was their plan. And then unfortunately all this happened. So like, she got the lawyer all right, but she was texting, emailing the guy, no response. She didn't even know anyone. And in my head I was like, what about your classmates? But I'm sure, you know, that kind of thing, like when you love someone, you love just the person, like nobody else matters. So when you are in dire need, now you are in dire need and you don't have anyone to call. So yeah, she didn't have anyone to call, and so she stopped trying. And so at her age and whatever, she had her child. So I'm using this. So she had her child, and then got engaged with a physiotherapist, or like one of those specialist doctors there in the UK, I think in the US also. Yeah, so that was it. And so some years passed, 12 years passed. She was 29, 12 years passed, and then her best friend in Nigeria was getting married. Her best friend came to school where she was for a while before coming back to Nigeria. So if I say her best friend, don't ask me why she didn't call the best friend all like the whole time to check on the guy. So that she and the best friend were all abroad, and the best friend came down to Nigeria after some years, unlike her, because she thought there was nothing back home for her. Obina is gone. She's angry with Obina, that kind of thing. So yeah, she didn't call or ask anyone to help. Anyway, so that friend was getting married, and she was supposed to be part of the Ashwebi girls kind of thing. And she was supposed to come down to Nigeria for the engagement and the wedding, the traditional wedding and the civil wedding. And so she came, she was in the queue, and then she saw this guy. Now looking a bit finer. This guy now looking a bit finer and all that. And the girls like all over him, kind of stuff. Oh shit, I used the wrong one. Sorry. The girls all over him, kind of stuff. And then she kept looking at the guy, looked familiar, that kind of thing. And then luckily the guy mentioned her name. She turned, she was like, do I know you? And the guy said, I think you should know me. That was Obina. But he went by his English name now because he felt Obina was just for her to call him. And also, Obina felt like his past. The small boy he was being, and now he was so rich. I think he was an architect or something, or he buys buildings or stuff like that to sell, real estate kind of thing. Like, he was really, really rich. So the girls were like all over him. And I was happy that he noticed them, that kind of thing. Yeah, so they decided to step out of the party to go talk. I'm sorry, this part people cringe, so I'm really sorry. I see it. I see the difference. It defines your eyes though. All right, so they stepped out of the friend's wedding, and then they went to talk as usual. Women blaming men. You left me, which was true, because at least he could have made an effort to text her, to call her, to find her number. But where? But at least the effort would have counted. He also gave up rich. So they talked about it, and then they all went their separate ways. They didn't talk about the whole issue though. They blamed each other for a while, and then they got angry and left each other there. So on the day of the actual wedding, the reception, let me see, they were supposed to be there again. So they were there again. Alright, so lashes are on now. So they met at the wedding, and then the guy still loved her, obviously, so pulled her aside and they decided to go talk about the issue. Well, because the last time they were pissed, and the guy said, okay, since it's somebody's wedding reception and there will be people looking for them, they decided to go to the guy's house, because I mean her house is a no-go still. So they went to the guy's house. So that eased her tension a little bit, and then they went inside, and one thing led to another. And they had sex again. And that was where he realized the Austin tattoo on the girl's shoulder. And he asked, like, it clicked him. He still like Austin books after like 12, 13 years. And then she was like, yes, and I have a child named Austin. And then the guy is like, did you get married? I thought you were just engaged, that kind of thing. And then he was like, yeah, I had my child before meeting, so like my fiance. And the guy started asking questions. How old is the child? The child is 12 years. It means that it's the same time you left, you met someone new. Again, they started to argue, and the girl was like, no, the child is yours. Bombshell. The guy couldn't stand it, and the girl ran away. And yeah, so the guy's friends came over at that same time that the girl was leaving in the guy's shirt. They all knew what had happened. And then the guy left them, went to look for the girl. The girl was supposed to be in Nigeria for like the weekend, and she stayed for like a month. So the fiance also got worried and decided to come home to find what's wrong with his fiance and why is his fiance in Nigeria for so long, and they don't even talk often like when she was there. So he knew there was a problem. And yeah, that was it. They met, and the girl told the fiance, I don't love you, this is the one I love, blah blah blah, but I don't love him anymore. Like, he's my first love, my first everything, the father of my child. So I've just got to see him after 12 years, so we are trashing things out. So I'll be back in the UK or US, I'm not too sure, but very soon. So the fiance left, and after a few days, girl left, because she was like, she can't be that wicked to this new guy. So they left, and yeah, they got to the US, and because now the guy has a lot of money, he decided to also join them in the US. So he went to the US, and when they were talking, like, the girl's daughter is 12 years, so she's obviously old. She overheard them saying that that's my child and you can't keep me away from my child. Dramatic American children. She heard this and she started running out of the house, and she got knocked down by a car. She had to be admitted at the hospital, and all her family members came. The girl's mother, the girl's father, the girl's grandmother came to abroad, and they saw the guy. And then that was when the girl's mother decided that she was going to tell the girl the story of why she didn't like Obinna. Apparently, the girl's mother had been married before to a guy that she thought was her childhood lover and promised her heaven and earth, that when I get money, I'm going to do this and do that. And when he got money, he started being abusive to her, started beating her up and that kind of thing. So she didn't want her to go through the same thing, like Obinna will one day become rich and forget her and all that and all their promises. So it was quite a difficult issue for them. And so the girl had to forgive, because she finally understood why the mother was doing all that she was doing. And finally the girl met her dad, and Obina wanted to marry her, but she said no, and she wanted to take it slow because she felt like they've been away from each other for a while, so obviously they've changed in ways that they don't know about. So she wanted to take it slow, but the guy can still be with their daughter and stuff like that. It was such a beautiful ending. And what I learned about the story was that it's like our parents kind of push their fears on us, and sometimes they don't even make us understand why they do what they do for us. Because I feel like if we understand, like, okay, I've been like this before, I've been like this before, obviously if I'm going to do something that is most likely going to lead me into what you think I would become, I will think twice about it and then say, okay, then I'm not going to do it because it's going to lead me to this, to that. I mean, it will just click. But if you just act upon what I think is right for my child without explaining to the child, I feel like it's going to be a problem. The child will not really understand what you want him or her to understand. And by the time you realize, you have lost your child. So imagine all these things being happen in the end, and then the girl's mother died or something. I mean, she would have, I mean, disliked the mother even in death. Do you get me? Ooh, ooh. She would have disliked the mother even in death, and even tell her grandchildren, it's some way. And even the girl's mother didn't like the granddaughter because, like, it's the boy's baby at some point, so it had to take them a while for her to understand that my story cannot be your story. And that's what basically our parents should be teaching us. Like, you are very different from, even though I birthed you, even though I am your parent, like, you are very different from me, and I wish you the best, but I'll be here every step of the way. That is like parenthood, like being there every step of the way, wrong or right, being there. So I hope you like this video and you like my makeup and my hairstyle. Yeah, so, and I hope to see you guys soon with another video. Bye.